Programming made possible by the Friends of No More fundraiser. Thank you for your support.
They all have a life after the track, and so what will that life be? Will it be a good, secure life or not?
Most horses will run, generally till they're 4 or 5, and then they're going to live till late 20s, early 30s. So 25, 30 years of their life, they've got to do something else. And not all are good enough to be brood mares, and certainly not all are good enough to be stallions. So they have to go do something.
My wife used to be a columnist at the Boston Globe. I was the movie critic. We retired in 2001, and I suggested to her that we move to Kentucky to take care of some old horses. And now we take care of 162 here. We have a branch down at Kentucky Downs, and we have another branch up at Saratoga. We have more stakes winners than any farm in the history of horse racing. We have 2 Derby winners, 2 Preakness winners, Silver Charm and War Emblem. Right around the time we just started Old Friends, when it was discovered that Ferdinand, who was 1985 Kentucky Derby winner and 1986 Horse of the Year, had unfortunately died in a slaughterhouse over in Japan. What happened to Ferdinand is he started out at an A farm, and then he went to a B farm, then a C farm, then a D farm, and by the time he got to the E farm, they didn't even know who he was. And that's part of the problem. We've been attracting the owners and the jockeys and a lot of the people in the racing industry that have come to see these horses and tell us stories.
When people come to the farm, many of them are race fans, and they come to see horses that they used to cheer on in the old days, to get to actually talk to them, feed them a carrot, see how they're doing in their latter years. Come to see, the race horses. Some of them just come to see beautiful animals. And they come from all over the country, all 50 states. They come from all over the world. And we just try to make people aware of that wonderful, huge world of a thoroughbred after their racing days have done.
Well, we started the farm with 52 acres, and I bought 40 more back there, then 92, and then I bought 46 next door, then another 100. Because the demand for our services now totally exceeds the space that we have. One of the things that really can hurt a horse is stress, and one way to cause stress very quickly is to crowd them. So they all have to have enough room. So we like to have an acre and a half to 2 acres for every horse. That's the kind of the rule of thumb.
A lot of what we do here is same as any horse farm. So there's cuts, colics, and lamenesses. They play with each other and get hurt and get cuts. When they're racing, there's a lot more things we have to watch out for. They have to constantly keep them in racing shape, so they have to watch the feet a little closer, do things to help them avoid muscle soreness. But when they're retired, it gets a little bit easier, but as they get older, there's more problems we worry about. On the track, everything's regulated. Feed gets dumped at 5:30. Jockey gets on them sometime before 10 in the morning. They get walked, they get fed, go to the stall, and it gets repeated the next day. And so sometimes when they're out there on green grass, they may not have seen grass since they were 2 years old. And so it's hard for them to figure out, what do I do now sometimes? They're all different, and you have to figure out, what are they like, and what makes them tick, and adjust our lives to make them happy.
I think one of the reasons that it's evolved over the years is people have been able to come here and see it and see how well the horses are taken care of. And now, instead of me calling owners and trainers and saying, I'd really like to retire your horse when the time comes, it's exactly the opposite. They start to contact us, and we get the most amazing calls about bringing the horses home from Japan and bringing them off the track and giving them a home here at Old Friends. If tomorrow it's not here, neither am I. They earned it. We're not doing anything that they didn't earn. This isn't some kind of welfare state for thoroughbreds. This is they've earned every penny of it, and they've done it all.
The biggest worry is the horse doesn't know that things fell through. And so they still need to eat, and they still need to have somebody take care of their stall. So somebody still has to do it, and somebody would have to step up, or they'd have to go somewhere else where somebody could do that. And you know, if Old Friends was no more, we'd have a lot of horses that needed a lot of care and just places to live, you know, people to take them.
These horses are heroes, they're great athletes, and they're the reason that everybody comes to Kentucky.
I can see from here the reasons right behind you. I can see a paddock full of ordinary horses, only one of them did anything of note, and multiply those by thousands. Not very long ago, I was turning the corner in the golf cart, and Amazombi and Rapid Redux were playing, and they came running, and when they saw it was me, the look on their faces changed. It was like, oh, there's our friend. And that's worth everything to me, you know. So yes, that's the payoff, and we are always needing volunteers to help out at Old Friends.
And when people come here, they're going to get to feed carrots to a Kentucky Derby winner like Silver Charm. I still think when I get up every day that I'm very, very fortunate to be able to be here, and I still get a thrill knowing that he's in my backyard.
One of the best things I ever did in my career was to start doing this, and I think everybody needs to give back. And you know, it's just rewarding, because I still freak out a little bit on some of these horses when I see them, because so it's really rewarding to get to see horses you saw, but also to give back to the ones nobody knew. You know, they're just as special, and their stories is just as good as this horse. You know, horses that haven't done as much.
To wake up every morning and see Silver Charm in your yard, be able to do this, and see the kind of people that are dedicated to these horses every day. I mean, I'm surrounded by great horses and great human beings, and I can't think of too many places in the United States right now that can say that honestly.